which is September 8th, 2023 at 1:30 p.m. I have got a show class calendar. I've got a add-on calendar, and I've got a final plea calendar. And oh my goodness, do I have more? Okay, that's it. Okay, let me start with my show class calendar just to see if an individuals have here. Tanya Combs, if you are appearing on Zoom, Ms. Combs is present.
And good afternoon, Judge. That Ms. Combs will be my case.
Yes, sir.
And give me one moment. I'm trying to. The announcement in this case, Judge, I will ask that this get placed on the status calendar. Because what has happened, this was a transfer case, and then I got involved, but then Ms. Combs just filed a change of address on August the 3rd. So now she's here, but since this is a DUI case, the discovery that's filed in the case on, I think, June the 21st, I lost the screen, so forgive me if that's not the right date, but I think the initial discovery was filed like June 21st. This is not the state's fault, but it's a technical problem. It says I'm not authorized to view it. And then the supplemental discovery, the only thing that's there is a certificate. There's nothing else there. So I just need some discovery videos, whatever, so I can share it with Ms. Combs and so we can talk about it.
Mr. Gaither, trust me, I feel your pain. I get that a lot too. You're not authorized to see this file. So trust me, you're not the only one.
Okay.
But bench warrant was issued on June 14th, which was voided on August 3rd because she filed her address change at that time. And Ms. Githia, if you are the prosecutor of Ms. Waldrop, can anybody allocate an offer for Ms. Combs?
You want the offer?
Yes.
Okay. For the DUI is 12 months to serve 24 hours, credit for time served 24 hours, the balance probated, a $500 fine, 40 hours of community service, alcohol drug evaluation and any required treatment, risk reduction program, 1 victim impact panel, and the remaining charges will be null pros.
All right, which was the Georgia hands-free law violation. Mr. Gaither, I would like you to take the time to communicate that to Ms. Combs. Otherwise, we can reset the case for trial.
Well, I don't know if we can reset it for trial. I don't have any discovery, Judge. I don't even have a police report. I don't know if it's
discovery was submitted on June 7th. Let me see. You can't open it?
I can't open anything. I don't have anything. I don't
Okay.
even have a police report.
There is only a police report. Ms. Githia, if you have a copy of the police report, please forward that to Mr. Gaither in email, and then we will see. Ms. Combs, your attorney, Mr. Frank Gaither, is going to look at the police report. That's all is checklist on the discovery.
I can tell you now, Judge, I wouldn't let her take a plea today because I don't know whether there's a refusal, there's a breath test. I don't have anything.
Want you to communicate the offer and let her know whether we want to reset it to a final plea calendar or for trial. That's the only reason I'm asking you to take a little bit more time this afternoon.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Let me see. Any other private counsel in the courtroom?
Judge,
Yeah.
In the courtroom, please. Yeah.
Judge Skip Sullivan for Mr. Joseph Duarte. He's on the final plea calendar.
Last name was again?
Duarte. I'm not
Duarte. Yeah, got it. Position 2. Yes, sir.
Judge, we were not able to reach an agreement with Ms. Githia. We do have.
Would you like to take the podium so that way she can hear you on Zoom? Thank you. Is Joseph Duarte on Zoom?
He's right here, Judge.
Oh, he's with you?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, sir. Yes.
Judge, Ms. Githia and I have not come to a resolution in this case. We do have filed motions. We asked it to be placed on a motions calendar.
What was the point in what was the issue that won't get you over the hump of a plea?
They're pressing forward with a plea to DUI, Judge, which we're not accepting.
What's the defense wanting to do?
Reduce it.
Okay. Motions calendar, that will be for November 16th at 9 a.m. in person.
Thank you, Judge. That concludes my business. May we be excused?
Yes, sir.
Good to
Thank
see
you
you.
so much.
And Your Honor, if we can go back to position one really quickly, there was something going on with that supplemental discovery, and we do not have the police report. And it was re-requested for position number one.
Oh, for Tanya Combs?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'm going to reset that to a status calendar. And that was for Tanya Combs, and that would be for November 3rd at 9 a.m. in person. All right, Mr. Gaither, we good?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, Ms. Combs, November 3rd, 9 a.m. in person.
Okay, all
All right, any other private counsel in the courtroom? All right, let me see if I can find a private counsel by just the way he looks. Mr. Crail Lewis, there you go. All the way through. Okay.
First and foremost, accept my apology. I'm so used to you telling us that we're in court even when we're on Zoom. So I just said, I started talking.
Understood. Thank you. Mr. Lewis, who do you represent?
I represent Mr. DeAnthony Whiteside, Judge.
Okay. And that would be on the show cause calendar, position 8. Is Mr. Whiteside present on Zoom?
I did not see him.
It would be very helpful if he's here because this is a show cause calendar of why a bench warrant should not issue.
Yes, ma'am.
Have you reached out to your client?
I have no good contact information for my client. I even looked at the contact information belonging to his brother who took a plea in the same case last year, and that doesn't appear to be good either.
Okay, based on his history of failures to appear and the fact that we have not got an updated change of address, what is the prosecutor seeking?
The bench warrant, Your Honor.
Bench warrant will issue is a $2,500 surety bond. And Mr. Lewis, if by some miracle your client gets in touch with you, please let him know that there's a bench warrant and that he needs to file, or you need to file the appropriate motion for him.
Yes, ma'am, I will.
All right. All right, Mr. Lewis, anything else?
Nothing other than
Okay.
have a great judge.
Have a great weekend, Mr. Lewis. You take care.
You too now. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I have Mr. Kester here. Mr. Kester, who's your attorney? I'm sorry, you're on mute, sir.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. Catherine Edmonds here on behalf of Mr. Koester.
Okay. And we will be taking his plea very soon, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor. And I do have another client on this calendar. I'm filling in for Miss Mary Agramonte. The client's
Okay.
name is Mel Morgan,
Morgan.
and I believe he's appearing via Zoom.
Yes, I'm here. I'm here, Your Honor.
All right, position 10 on the final plea calendar, and the attorney is Miss Mary Agramonte. And Miss Edmonds, what would we like to do with Mr. Morgan's case today?
Your Honor, Miss Agramonte wanted me to ask for a motions date.
Okay, motions calendar is on November 3rd at 1:30 p.m. Oh, I'm sorry, what am I reading over here? Oh, that's the show cause, sorry. November 16th, let me
Oh my God.
correct that. November 16th at 9 a.m. Motions have to be filed at least 1 week before the hearing date, and it has to be in person, no Zoom.
Yes, Your Honor. I will let Miss Agramonte know. May Mr. Morgan be excused?
Yes, he may. Mr. Morgan, you're free to go. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
You too.
On place on the motions calendar, Your Honor, I do apologize.
Yes, motions calendar, November 16th at 9 a.m. And Ms. Edmonds, I'll be addressing Mr. Castro very, very shortly. Mr. Lightcap, good afternoon. How are you?
Hey, Judge Law, good to see you.
You too, sir.
Thank you so much. We have a plea today. I represent Mr. Paul Elliott, and we've worked out a plea with Ms. Gathea and Ms. Reiser.
All right, I have got you in the queue to address the plea. So if you please be patient, I will address you very, very shortly.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, I don't see any other private counsel, so I'm going to move on to Mr. Gaither. Mr. Gaither, who are your clients on the show cause or final plea calendar?
Okay, the only client I had, Judge, on the show cause calendar was Miss Combs. We've taken care of her. The Next client I have is on the final plea calendar. Position 1, Derek Davis.
Mhm.
Is Mr. Davis present on Zoom? 'Cause I don't believe.
Derek Davis, this will be a good time to start your video and unmute.
Judge,
Derek Davis in the courtroom? Have you reached out to him, Mr. Gaither?
unfortunately, Judge, I do not have good contact information, and I know
Right.
the clerk's office has 2 phone numbers in their file. Those are the 2 phone numbers we have, and just haven't made contact with them.
All right. And this is on the final plea calendar. What is the state asking?
State is asking for a bench warrant, Your Honor.
I set aside a bench warrant back on July 14th. I'm going to reinstate that bench warrant, and you just hold a minute, please. And the bond was set at 1,000. This is the second failure to appear. This is going to be a $2,000 surety bond on his bench warrant. Mr. Gaither, please make sure you can reach out to him. Maybe he'll reach out to you once he sees the bench warrant out there.
Absolutely, Judge.
All right, thank you.
And my next client, he's present here in court. He's position 6 and 7. Mr. Hamlin John Francois.
Francois, Hamlin John Francois or Jean Hamlin Francois? Are you on Zoom?
No, he was present. He must have stepped to the restroom.
Okay,
'Cause I just
we'll
spoke to
hold.
him. Okay.
Anybody else?
Well, either way, I can give the announcement. The announcement is that Ms. Githier, this is another case Ms. Githier and I are in discussions, talking about, and we're not going to be able to resolve it today, Judge. So in order to not hold the case up, I guess the next step would just,
What's the holdup? What's the crux? What's the issue that can't quite get over the hump?
well, the state has ordered and requested the videos. They just haven't received them yet. And so it's a matter, once they receive the videos that I need, I can share it with my client.
So you're waiting on discovery of videos from the state?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Your Honor, we have actually had to re-request the videos, so.
Okay, final reset to a final plea calendar. At that time, Mr. Gaither, you can either ask for a trial, or if your client is open to a plea, then you can address that accordingly. That will be on November 3rd at 1:30 p.m.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
In the meantime, where is he?
I'm ready to step outside to see where he is, Your Honor, because I literally just spoke with him less than 10 minutes ago.
And Your Honor, if I could interject real quick.
Yes, sir.
Position 21 from the Orca status from this morning, Daquan Reed Hayes is on the Zoom now. He's the Daquan, or just Daquan.
You said 21?
Yes, ma'am.
Daquan Reed Hayes, where is he?
I'm here. Hello?
All right, all I can see is big yellow glasses.
I'm sorry, ma'am.
Take those glasses off unless they're seeing our glasses. Okay. Bring the thing down. You were expected in court at 9:30, 9 o'clock in the morning.
I know, ma'am. I was
Okay,
trying-
good. Then you know that a bench warrant has been issued for your arrest and the bond is $1,500.
You say what, ma'am?
A bench warrant has been issued for your arrest and the bond is $1,500.
They told me it was once they had a Zoom meeting for it, I wouldn't have no warrant because I'll still be appearing.
If you show up at 9 o'clock.
I'm stuck in a whole different state. I tried to call, I talked to the Bell's moms and all that.
So, okay, that's not a problem. You just need to come down to Fulton County, surrender to the Fulton County Jail. And if you bond out, we will give you a new court date. Otherwise, we will address you from the jail.
Okay.
All right, the bench warrant's out there. You're free to go. Thank you.
And Judge, I have a few announcements if the court's ready.
Ready? Wait, just one second. Mr. Gaither, do you have any other cases?
No, and Your Honor, I think what happened is that when I explained to Mr. Francois what my announcement will be, I think there was a miscommunication. I'm really assuming now that he thought that he was free to go. So he left, but he's been here at every hearing, and I'll make sure that he's here on November the 3rd. Because he was here.
You are going to, I trust you. Reset November 3rd,
Yeah.
and you are going to make sure that he's here.
Yes, yes, because he was here, and I just explained to him what my announcement will be, but I think he took that as, okay, thank you, and he slipped, he
All right.
left, so I'm sorry.
Mr. Randall, Ms. Bolton, please make sure that Mr. Gaither has given us the Gaither promise that Jean Francois will be here. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Gaither.
Thank you, Judge.
All right. Any other private attorneys on Zoom? Okay. On the add-on calendar, I have April Garrett.
Yes, Judge, and I believe she's in court.
April Garrett, okay, she's present. And how would we like to proceed on the 3 separate cases against her?
Judge, I'm asking that all 4 cases, there was another case that should be with the add-on case at 1:30, Judge. So I have all those case numbers. If the court is ready, I can give those out.
I have a case ending in 7168, 7241, and 1550. What's the 4th case? Oh, it's on the show call.
The show calls.
All right,
Position
position number 2. Okay, that's 19 CR 007-820G.
Correct, Judge.
Okay, so I have on the show cause calendar, I have a DUI case from January 5th, 2019. On position 1, April Garrett, I have a DUI case from August 18, 2020. On a case position number 2 on the show cause, or the add-on, excuse me, I have a criminal trespass from January 25th, 2021. And on position 3, April Garrett, reckless conduct, is from August 2022. And what do you want to do, Ms. Helen?
Judge, we want them on the calendar all together so that the state can give us a joint or global resolution to all of the cases, Judge.
We had them all together. The first 3 cases were reset, and the second case is on the show cause. Yes,
Your
Ms.
Honor,
Gathia.
I do apologize. The 3 cases that are on the add-on were just provided to us 2 days ago, and the state just hasn't had an opportunity to review any of these. And we just received them Wednesday afternoon.
Should I reset it to a status calendar or a final plea calendar, Ms. Gathia?
If we could put these on a status calendar, Your Honor.
November 3rd, all 4 cases reset to November 3rd at 9 a.m.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. And is Ms. Garrett excused, Your Honor?
Yes. Ms. Garrett, you have to appear in court in person November 3rd. At which time then hopefully your attorney will have a resolution for you for all outstanding 4 cases from November 19th, 20, 21, 22. Thank you.
One question, Judge, if you don't mind. I also received another letter in the mail too for the 21 CR 007-241G. I heard you mention it. I'm supposed to come back to court at 9:30 on September 12th, next Tuesday. So I don't have to come to court for that because you're gonna put them all together.
Let me see. What's on Tuesday? Is that a trial calendar?
Well, it has,
That's a trial calendar.
No, Judge, I think that may be a court date with the other judge, Judge Mather. I looked that up on Odyssey. It may be a court date for Judge Mather.
but they transferred the cases to Orca. We just got them 2 days ago.
All right.
I'll check on it.
All right. Miss James is going to check on the cases. If these all 4 cases have been transferred to Orca. And Miss Garrett, the best thing I can tell you right now is hang on to that date. And our court services is going to check and see whether Judge Mather wants to keep that case or whether he's transferred it to us to address it on November 3rd. All right? Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Helen, Ms. Garrett has accompanied Ms. Patrona James to check on the status of the calendar. So tentatively right now, they're all set for November 3rd, pending Judge Mather's decision to hang on to that.
Understood, Judge. My
Okay.
next position is position number 5 on the show cause calendar. We handled that this morning, Your Honor. Mr. Rodney Langford, position
Yes, that's
5.
that's reset jury trial.
Correct, Judge. We did request a jury trial in that case. My next case is position number 7, Michael Petway. I just want to check and see if Mr. Petway is in court or on Zoom, Judge.
Mr. Michael Petway, Michael Benjamin Petway. Good time to announce your presence. I'm hearing
Judge-
crickets, Miss Helen.
Judge, I do ask for an opportunity to have this case just reset to another date. I don't know if Mr. Petway got notice for this court date, Judge, but I just received the evidence link yesterday for the body worn camera footage. I want to review that with him, Judge. So we're just asking for a final plea date. And I believe on that date, Judge, we'll have a resolution to this case.
All right, just let him know that a bench warrant was previously issued. He's got a $1,000 surety bond. He can either appear in court to request a set aside, or he can show up at jail.
Understood, Judge.
All right, thank you.
My next case is position 13 and 14 on the final plea calendar, Your Honor. And that is going to be Mr. Sterling. Is Mr. Sterling present in court or on Zoom?
Antoine Sterling? Antoine Sterling?
And I do hear your announcement, Judge, or announcing his name. He has appeared to all other court dates. I do not believe he's received notice of this court date, Judge.
Let me check. Antoine Sterling. Antoine Sterling. I don't have any return to sender, anything. Notice was sent to his current address, which is Foxtail Court in Fayetteville. So I don't have,
Understood, Judge.
I don't have an email on file. So you want to reach out to him? He's got a cell number.
I've tried that cell number, Judge. There's no answer. I know he's appeared in person, Judge. I ask you not to issue a bench warrant, but Judge, give us that final plea calendar date. In this particular case, or both cases, positions 13 and 14, we've received initial discovery. We are still waiting on the videos, Judge. I just want an opportunity to get those videos, review those with Mr. Sterling. And we'll have a decision by that final plea date, Judge.
All right. Ms. Waldrop and Ms. Githia?
Yes,
what
Your
say
Honor.
is-
That is my case, and the state would request a bench warrant. I did email over to PD Helen that there is no video available in the position ending in 120G. That is position number 14. We're still awaiting it on position number 13.
Understood.
Just one moment, please. I'm going to grant the state's request on position 13 is a bench warrant for $1,000 surety bond. On position 14 is a bench warrant. It's going to be a $1,500 surety bond. Total bond is $2,500. Please let Mr. Sterling know that he needs to respond. Otherwise, we will address him from the SAP calendar.
Understood, Judge. And I believe that's all of my positions today on the calendar, Judge.
All right, Mr. Haddad, you're next. Anything exciting for me this afternoon?
I'm ready for announcements. I do have one plea. Frederica Williams, Judge, he's on Zoom. That is position number 16. And I think the court called for him earlier, but it looks like he's on Zoom.
Is that, which one is Federico? Okay, I see him. Excellent. Mr. Williams, you're not driving, right?
Oh, no, I'm parking.
Okay, good. We'll be addressing your plea very shortly. Anything else, Mr. Haddad?
Yes, Judge. As far as pleas, and I'm sorry to switch back to this morning, Lexus Hall, position number 10. Judge, I think I had initially requested a reset for November 3rd, but She came back, we signed her up, so she's ready for a plea on the position number 10 from,
Okay, do we have you DocuSign and, okay,
and I forwarded to.
all right, and I have her documents, this is 10 from AM, okay. Anything else, Mr. O'Donnell?
That's as far as please, Judge. So going down the calendars, initially on the show cause calendar, position number 4, Samuel Johnson.
Position number 4 on the show cause calendar, Samuel Lewis Johnson.
Present, Judge.
Okay, thank you.
Judge, I would request, this can be Ms. Rosenhoover's case, if we can reset it for a final plea. He actually, I mean, it is on a show cause. We've not had any contact until just now. I got a good phone number and an email address. Ms. Rosenhoover has not talked to him at all about the case. So respectfully request.
Please talk to him about this case.
And this is a serious.
Yes.
Allegation. So
I agree.
So-
And does he have the contact information for Ms. Rosenhoover?
I'll double check, Judge, but I'll give it to him before he leaves.
All right. How old is he now?
How old are you, sir? 19.
You need to talk to your attorney, like yesterday, okay? Is his address still at 320 Fairburn? Is that your current address? Your phone number ends in 444? And you got a funny Gmail address? Okay. All right. We're going to reset this to the final plea calendar. And that's going to be November 3rd. What was the final plea at 1:30 p.m.? Same time, same place on November 3rd. And before then, you must talk to your attorney, Sarah Rosenhoover. I cannot belittle this. This is extremely serious for you. I guess that's the best I'll get. All right. Okay. Who's the prosecutor for this case?
I think it's Stevens, ASG Stevens. He's not present.
Is it Jacobs?
Well, today I am, Your Honor.
Okay. Can you communicate an offer to Mr. Haddad in chat?
Yes.
I do
Okay.
have an offer, Judge.
Oh, you do?
It involves substantial jail time, so.
Okay. Please forward that to Ms. Rosenhoover and y'all can discuss it and come back to court on November 3rd.
Thank you, Judge.
You're free to go, sir. Do you have Rosenhoover's phone number? Email?
I'll give it to him now.
Come and sit in the first row. Mr. Haddad, what's your next case?
Judge, on the final pleas, they're all Ms. Rosenhoover's cases, Judge. Position number 5, we were gonna request a reset for motions, for motions calendar. There's still videos that are pending, but I do believe, once we're provided, there may be motions. If they're, of course, not motions, we'll withdraw those and try and work it out as a plea, but I do not see Ms. Harvey. I know Ms. Rosenhoover has had contact with her, Judge, unless she's on Zoom.
Okay, I'll find out. Okay.
If I may, I have confirmed.
I'm here on Zoom.
Oh, great. Okay.
What's your name?
Latanya Harvey.
Okay.
So I'm requesting to set it on a motions calendar, Judge.
Okay. The case is reset to November 16th at 9 a.m. in courtroom G33. Ms. Harvey, you need to appear in court in person, not Zoom. Your attorney is Sarah Rosenhoover,
Correct.
and we will see you on that day in person. You're free to go.
Okay.
Before she goes, and before Mr. Haddad leaves, I just want to confirm that there is no video footage available in this case.
Okay,
Okay.
It was supposed to be. That's what my lawyer was waiting on.
why is there supposed to be?
Because it was in evidence that there is a videotape.
No, Miss Harvey, I'm going to ask you a very straight question. Why do you believe that there's a body cam or video footage in existence? All right, she's frozen up.
Your Honor, I believe this is only because it's a DUI involving the police. I know there's been communication between Ms. Githea and Ms. Rosenhuber. The last information that I got is that there was, and I'll follow up. Apparently, Ms. Rosenhuber had been in touch with Ms. Reiser. There's reference in the police report that there is a video, and I know Ms. Githea followed up and says that there's no video. I don't, that's where I'm at.
Okay, Ms. Githea is confirming there is no video footage of the incident. So if Mrs. Rosenhuber believes there's some in existence, we will address that at the motions calendar. But everyone needs to appear in person November 16th at 9 a.m.
Absolutely, Judge.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Harvey. You're free to go.
Thank you.
The next case I have is position number.
Just 1 second, Mr. Haddad. $17. Okay. And this is at 1:30, right? Yeah. 9 a.m. or 1:30? Promotions is 9 a.m. Okay. This is the last one I'm going to add. Okay. Okay. All right. Next case, Mr. Haddad.
Judge, position number 12, Matthew Northcross. He is present, Judge. He's standing up right now.
Okay, got it.
Judge, we are requesting a reset for another final plea date. The reason is that I think it's still pending with whether the DA's office is going to pick it up or not.
Well, let's find out. Ms. Githea, Ms. Waldrop.
Yes, Your Honor, this one is mine, and that is correct. This is he's got a prior conviction for the same offense.
Okay. And when was the request made of the DA's office?
1 moment, Judge. I don't show when the request was made. I just show an update in our system from the last calendar that there is no word yet from the DA's office as to whether or not they will accept this case.
Okay. This case was scheduled for, was arraigned on February 18th, 2022. It's been reset multiple times. There was a prior failure to appear on August 4th, 2023. I'm going to reset it to, I'm going to further notice this for trial. Is the state or the defense seeking a jury trial on this matter?
Your Honor, I mean, honestly, Ms. Rosenhuber has a leave of absence today, and I mean, I'm just covering and making announcements for her.
I'm just giving you the procedural history
to
show that the case has been arraigned.
Okay.
That there has been discovery on July 10th. And I understand Ms. Rosenhuber is not present today, but I'm going to further notice this for trial because arraignment's already been instituted.
Oh, that's fine.
This was Mr. Matthew Norcross, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And if the district attorney's office accepts it as a felony charge between now and the jury, was it jury trial? Okay. Then certainly that case goes away from our trial calendar.
Yes, Judge.
But this one is further notice for a jury trial. A case management order will issue today. Mr. Norcross, your case is going to be further notice for a jury trial. Please be sure to keep in touch with your attorney make sure your contact information is current with the court at all times. All right? And if the district attorney's office accepts this case as a felony matter, then it will be a Superior Court felony case. It will no longer be with the state court.
And
All right.
while the state is here, I would ask on the record whether there's any other outstanding videos or photos that are available with the state and were not shared to the defense, since this case is going to jury trial.
Ms. Waltrop, I think that's directed to you.
I'm sorry, Judge.
Repeat the question.
Are there any outstanding video? Are there any videos or photos or anything of that sort that's not been provided to the defense?
So let me look at discovery and what was provided.
I'd say something wrong.
Hold off. There's one more question.
Looks like we provided initial discovery that included the warrants, citation, and police report. I don't show an Odyssey where video is. However, what I will say is that this occurred, it looks like on MARTA. So there is very much the possibility that there may be some CCTV footage available. And it does, for the police report, indicate that a photo was taken by the officer. So we'll certainly get those things over to defense counsel once received from the agency. But,
I mean, Your Honor, the part of the issue, in all honesty, and of course, the court can do what it feels appropriate. I mean, whether there's a video that's helpful or hurtful for the client, will have quite some ramifications as far as at a jury trial, whether it's going to be a plea or not. I mean, I'm just throwing it out there. I understand. I know that the court's policy, or it's been my experience that a jury trial, we can still resolve it as a plea.
I don't see any evidence of any kind of CCTV or video footage. I see that's a police report, and there is an alleged layperson witness who allegedly took a photograph. So it's up to the state to subpoena the witness and to obtain whatever evidence they can from this witness and provide that to the defense. But the case is further notice for trial. Case management order is being issued, and it will dictate the scheduling for discovery, motions, and so forth prior to trial.
yes, Judge, and I just want to confirm, I'm not stating that there is definitively video. I'm just looking at the fact that it's MARTA, and typically there is some type of CCTV footage.
That's the best you have right now, Mr. Haddad.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Judge, the next case I have is.
Just one second, Mr. Norcross, if you need to say something to your attorney, you can come forward and sit in the front row and confer with him, but otherwise you are free to go. Next case.
Your Honor, next case is position number 15, Cameron Van Holten.
Yes, sir.
President Judge.
Thank you.
There's reference in we do not have any videos. There's reference of the video in the supplemental report. I was going to request a reset for another final plea, Judge, but if the court wants to set it for jury trial, so be it.
Let me see what this, I have indication that this witness statements, incident report warrants. Where is the reference to video footage, Mr. Haddad?
Grant on the supplemental report, there's in there is what is indicated to me.
Henson was given CID email to forward the video surveillance. Miss Henson does have video surveillance of the incident. Miss Henson would be the alleged next door neighbor. Okay. This is Miss Waldron. Do you have any comment?
No, Judge, I'm checking Odyssey right now to see whether or not we are in receipt of that. Upon receipt, we will get that over to defense counsel, but I'm just checking evidence.com now.
All right, and it looks like Mr. Van Holten was arraigned on February 3rd and waived a jury trial. Does he still want to waive a jury trial?
No, Judge, we're requesting a jury trial.
Okay. Position number 15 is arraigned, so that case is going to be further notice for a jury trial. A case management order will issue today. Between now and in accordance with the scheduling of the case management order, the state is required to provide any evidence that they intend to show at the trial. Mr. Van Holten, your case is going to be further notice for a jury trial, and your attorney is Miss Sarah Rosenhuber. Okay. Please make sure that your address and contact information are available to the court at all times. Thank you. Did you have a question to ask of Mr. Haddad?
I didn't have a question.
Come forward and sit in the front row, and when he's free, he'll give you a moment to speak with him. Mr. Haddad, did you have another case?
No, Judge, that's it. I have these two pleas that I've mentioned.
All right, thank you. On the show cause calendar, position 1 is reset to November 3rd, 9 a.m. Position 2, Garrett, is reset to November 3rd at 9 a.m. Deshaun Johnson. Why are you sitting so far? Come closer. Mr. Johnson, who is your attorney?
I'm not sure, man. If something gets worked out.
Has anyone communicated with you from an attorney's office or from the public defender's office?
No, ma'am, but I think it's this guy I talked to when I was recently in pretrial. I think he's like heavy set with glasses. I forgot his name. All it says on my papers is judicial officer. The pay and date time. You don't say nothing about the attorney on here. But if it gets anything, it's
When was this encounter with this heavy set person with glasses?
I guess.
Do you recall?
Maybe about the last time I was incarcerated.
Which would be when?
I can't count, probably about like
This year?
maybe about like 2 or 3 months ago.
2-3 months ago. The case that we're talking about is from the year 2020.
Yes.
Was this in Fulton County?
No, this I had with the pretrial, and they had a hold in Rice Street, which caused me to go to Rice Street. They said they dropped. They said it dismissed all my charges. I don't know. I probably need to check in with.
You were in Fulton County Rice Street Jail because you had a bench warrant.
Right.
For failure to appear.
Right.
Okay. That makes. All right, you don't have an attorney listed for you. Would you like an opportunity to speak to the public defender's office and see if you qualify for their services? Or would you like to hire your own attorney? Or would you like to represent yourself? You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one could be appointed to represent you.
Yes, ma'am, I understand. I guess if I talk to him, he will help me out. That's right. Yes, I will.
Have a seat in the first row.
Okay.
Your Honor, just so the court is aware, Mr. Johnson has another case that's currently sent to Judge Mather. It's a 21 CR case. And I would just, I'll be happy to talk to him, assuming he qualifies. I'm gonna ask to reset it to another either status or final plea. And if we can add the other case on there as well. And I can give the court the case number.
Yeah, give me the case number, please.
It's 21 CR 003870G. So either both go back to G or both come here, so.
Is Miss James with us or Miss Bolton?
Well, we have the oldest case, so more than likely it will follow.
This one, okay. We're going to make a request to Judge Mather to transfer this case. The charges are disorderly conduct and criminal trespass. The only thing is, he was arrested on a bench warrant. That's all it says.
Okay. All right, so yeah, I'll email the litigation manager to the feedback, and then we'll reset it, and we'll have both files together.
Okay. And Mr. Haddad, he needs to speak with you to see if he qualifies, and then if the public defender's office is open to the idea of handling both cases, then we will reset them accordingly, but he still needs to talk to you.
Absolutely, Judge.
Okay. So,
Yeah, I'm gonna set it to a status.
not yet. He still needs to talk to Mr. Haddad. We will find out. Michael Petway, have I addressed that case? Michael Petway,
Judge, that's the.
position 6 on the show
I
cause.
think Ms. Helen addressed that, that's her case, Judge. I don't recall exactly what she said, Judge, but that was.
Michael Petway was not addressed. Rodney Langford was addressed. Miss Catrice Helen, are you on the Zoom? Yes. Yeah, Mr. Petway has got 2 cases, not just one. And we addressed position 7, I guess number 6. Oh, I see. Okay. All right. Position number 6 will be a bench warrant as well with $1,000 surety. Okay, that concludes my bench warrant calendar. Going on to the final plea calendar. Okay, we good. No, we're good. All right, Johnny Gilbert. Mr. Haddad, that was Miss Rosenberg's case as well. Position 4 on the final plea. Johnny Gilbert available on Zoom?
Your Honor, Mr. Spiesman filed a leave of absence.
That's not our case, I don't know.
Oh, that's not, oh, I thought it was Miss, okay. That's going to be, and this is going to be reset to, this was the final plea to the next final plea calendar, which is November 3rd at 1:30 p.m. due to attorney leave of absence. Okay, Harvey's have been addressed. Jean-Francois has been addressed. Position 8, Woodland Jean-Baptiste.
That's another one that is Mr. Spiesman, and he filed a leave of absence.
Okay. Reset to November 3rd, final plea calendar at 1:30. 10, 11, Chad Nelson, position 11.
No, no, Mr. Nelson is present. He does not qualify, Judge.
Mr. Nelson, please come forward to the podium, right there. And who's the prosecutor for this matter?
I am, Judge.
All right. Mr. Haddad, was that determination made today?
Judge, he had applied twice, on the last time. That was, I think, last month or the month before. I don't remember, but. Reset. I think Judge Mincy was the
Yeah, it was.
judge to deal with that issue.
All right, Mr. Nelson, my name is Judge Lal. I'd just like to remind you, you have a right to remain silent about the facts of the case. Anything you choose to say, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney. Unfortunately, you do not qualify for appointed counsel. So you were supposed to come in with either a hired attorney or you can waive your right to counsel and represent yourself. What would you like to do today?
Represent himself.
Okay, please understand that if you waive your right to counsel, you're responsible for all legal decisions and you're responsible for understanding the law and the criminal procedures as they apply to the facts of your case.
Such
How would you like to proceed today?
I plead. Well, how do I plead?
Have you received a plea offer from the prosecution?
Yes. She offered me anger management, and I'm not sure what else.
Would you like the prosecutor to let you know what the plea offer is today?
Yes, I would.
Yes, Judge, on the count of battery family violence, the state's recommendation is 12 months to serve 2 days, credit for time served 2 days, balance probated, for the defendant to complete DVIP, perform 20 hours of community service, and have no further violent contact with Ms. Yakita Lawrence. On the simple battery family violence, the state's recommendation is 12 months to serve 2 days, credit for time served, balance probated, to run concurrent with the battery family violence count. On one count of cruelty to children in the 3rd degree, state's recommendation is 12 months to serve 2 days, credit for time served of 2 days, balance probated, to complete a parenting class. And on the additional count of cruelty to children in the 3rd degree, the state will null pros that count in the remainder.
All right. Did you understand that, Mr. Nelson?
Why not she disqualified two of the children?
Repeat the question.
She had dismissed two of the cruelty to children.
You have currently 6 charges against you.
Mhm.
They are battery family violence, 3 counts of cruelty in the 3rd degree, 1 count of simple battery family violence, and a 6th charge of battery against a female who is pregnant. Those are the 6 charges.
Yes.
The prosecution is offering a recommended sentence where you are on probation to complete a parenting class and to complete a domestic violence intervention program, which is a 24-week class program, and to complete 20 hours of community service. If you plead guilty to battery family violence, 1 count of cruelty in the 3rd degree, and 1 count of simple battery family violence, and they will dismiss the other 3 charges. I'll give you a few moments to think about it.
Yeah. What the victim? Not what else, but the victim was on the Zoom.
What's her name?
Yakita Lawrence, because
Nakia Lawrence. Are you on Zoom? That's the screen there. Do you see anyone on the screen? I have a Kita phone that I don't know who that is. So I don't have a Nakia Lawrence on the Zoom.
Kita phone.
Kita iPhone. If you'd like to identify yourself and start your video. All right, nobody is responding. And you are not allowed to contact that person, I understand. You do have a no further contact, if I'm not mistaken. So that is the offer right now. If you'd like to sit down and think about it, otherwise your other option is to go to trial. Okay, that was Mr. Chad Nelson. All right, that concludes the final plea calendar call. Is there anyone whose name I did not call in the courtroom? Is there anyone whose name I did not call on Zoom? Okay. Yeah, I called you. I called you, Mr. Williams.
Oh, I thought, okay.
Okay. Mr. Paul Kester, if you please unmute your screen, please.
I'm here.
This is position 9 on the Orca final plea calendar at 1:30 p.m. This is State versus Paul R. Kester, case number 21 CR 005503A. Mr. Kester is present, and his attorney, Catherine Edmonds, is also present via Zoom. Mr. Kester, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you choose to say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to counsel, and your attorney is Ms. Catherine Edmonds. This is going to be a negotiated plea hearing in which Mr. Kester was originally charged with driving under the influence of alcohol per se and reckless driving from February 25th, 2020. This is going to be a negotiated plea hearing on the one count of DUI under the influence of alcohol per se. And is the state going to null cross the reckless driving charge?
It is, Judge, and I believe he's pleading to DUI less safe.
Okay. Mr. Kester, may I place you under oath, sir?
Yes.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Waldron?
Yes, Judge. The parties have come to a negotiated sentence on DUI less safe of 12 months to serve 24 hours, credit for time served 24 hours with the balance on probation, for the defendant to pay a $300 fine, complete 40 hours of community service, an alcohol and drug evaluation and any treatment deemed necessary, risk reduction, and one victim impact panel.
Ms. Edmonds, are those the terms to which your client has agreed, and do you stipulate to the factual basis, venue, and ID for one count of DUI less safe?
We do so stipulate, Your Honor, and that is the, those were the terms of the agreement. We would just ask that the court allow him to report via phone or email. He does have some mobility issues that make it difficult for him to travel. And he does qualify for the limited permit, so we'd also ask for that as well.
All right, and will Mr. Kester be able to report in the first time in person?
I think if he must, Your Honor, he can. He just has some difficulty, which is why we asked to appear via Zoom today.
All right, Mr. Kester, you would have to respond to the probation office in person the first time to set up your probation case. After that, I will allow for telephonic reporting, and that you would need to submit all the requirements in addition to paying probation fees. Once all these conditions are completed, I will place your probation on non-reporting. So that would be entirely up to you how soon and how fast you complete the conditions. Would you still like to proceed with the plea?
Yes, I would.
Then it's non-reporting after all the conditions are completed. And I'm going to grant the affidavit of first conviction.
Thank you, Your Honor.
He would need to surrender his driver's license in order to receive the affidavit. So when he comes down to visit probation, it would be cool if he stops by the clerk's office, surrenders his license, and obtains the affidavit of first conviction.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Kester, I think I've already placed you on oath, right? Yeah.
Yes, Your Honor.
Have you consumed any medication or alcohol recently?
I'm on some pain medication, just like a ibuprofen type. And I stopped drinking days ago.
All right.
No alcohol.
Okay. And with the consumption of that medication, are you still able to understand the proceedings so far?
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Yeah.
All right. Are you satisfied with your attorney?
Very much so.
And is anyone forcing you, inducing you to take this plea offer today?
No one is forced me to do anything.
And has it been explained to you that you would have to voluntarily and willingly waive your rights to a trial before a judge or a jury, to go back to court, to challenge these charges in front of a judge or a jury, to be able to confront your accuser, challenge the evidence brought against you, examine witnesses who may testify against you, confront your accuser, and have the state try to prove the original charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to waive these rights?
Yes, I am.
How do you plead to one count of DUI, less safe?
Guilty.
Your sentence is 12 months to serve 1 day, credit for time served 1 day. The remainder of the time will be on probation. You report to probation next Thursday before 3 p.m. in person at 132 Mitchell Street in downtown Atlanta. While on probation, you will pay a $300 fine plus any surcharges and court costs. You will complete 40 hours of voluntary community service at any nonprofit agency, which is not a school and not a religious organization. You will also obtain an alcohol and drug evaluation from a qualified healthcare provider and submit yourself to any treatment that's required. Complete a risk reduction program and one victim impact panel that is administered by certain agencies like Mothers Against Mad Drunk Drivers. The acronym is MAD, sorry.
Yes.
Your first probation visit must be in person. I will allow for telephonic reporting from your second probation visit onwards, and which will require you to still pay probation fees. And then if you have completed all the conditions to the satisfaction of your probation officer, your probation then may be non-reporting, which means that you will not have to pay probation fees. I will also grant your affidavit of first conviction, but that will only be given to you upon submission and surrender of your driver's license. Any questions, Ms. Edmonds?
Your Honor, I just wanted to confirm the date and time of his first probation reporting. I believe it was next Thursday, but I didn't catch the time.
Before 3 p.m.
Before 3 p.m. Thank you, Your Honor. That was all of the questions that I had.
All right, Mr. Kester, thank you for being with us since 9 o'clock this morning. If you have any questions about the sentence, please refer them to your attorney.
I will.
All right, sir. Thank you. You're free to go.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a wonderful day.
And did we address your other case, Ms. Edmonds?
We did, Your Honor. You put Mr. Jamel Morgan on the November 16th motions calendar at 9 a.m.
Okay.
And that concludes my business before the court. May I be excused?
Yes, thank you very much. Have a great weekend.
You too.
Paul Elliott? Who was your attorney, Mr. Elliott? Please unmute.
I'm right here. I'm right here, Your Honor. I'm so sorry.
That's all right.
And he's on, he's on the Zoom as well. And we have a plea that we have negotiated with the state.
Excellent. Okay. This is position 3 on the final plea calendar at 1:30 p.m. State versus Paul Benson Elliott, case number 21 CR 005547F. Mr. Elliott was originally accused of driving under the influence of alcohol, less safe, failure to maintain lane or improper lane change, reckless driving, and basic rules violation. This was from a June 28, 2020 incident in Fulton County, Georgia. Mr. Elliott, you've been advised of your right to remain silent. Anything you choose to say during the course of these proceedings, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney, and Alan Lightcap will be your counsel. This is going to be a negotiated plea hearing where the state is going to proceed on all 4 charges. Is that correct, Ms. Waldron?
This is my case, Your Honor, and
Ms.
we just want to
Githea?
see
Yes.
the DUI less safe.
So it's only on the DUI, let's say?
Correct. The remaining will be null pros.
Okay, let me go ahead and indicate that.
It's on the plea document on the last line.
Yeah, got it. And Mr. Elliott, may I face you under oath, please?
Yes, ma'am.
The other right hand.
Oh, sorry.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Ms. Githia, please.
Yes, Your Honor. As to count 1 DUI less safe, the state's offer is 12 months to serve 24 hours, credit for time served 24 hours. The balance is probated, $300 fine, 40 hours of community service, alcohol drug evaluation and any required treatment, risk reduction program, 1 victim impact panel, and the state consents to non-reporting after conditions of probation are met, and all the conditions must be completed at a location approved by probation. The remaining counts will be null pros.
Mr. Lightcap, are those the terms to which your client has agreed? And do you stipulate to the factual basis, venue, and ID for DUI less safe?
Yes, Your Honor, we stipulate, and I do believe what is reflected on the plea sheet of is and what is recited by Ms. Githia is correct. I did want to mention that I do not believe he will need it because he's already finished a 1-year ignition interlock suspension, but I was going to ask the court for an affidavit of first conviction as well.
Is this a first conviction?
I believe he had a conviction under conditional discharge several years ago. So that one was wiped away. So this is his first one that he's pleading straight to.
Ms.
And it was
Githia,
more,
do you agree with that assessment?
I'm looking it up now, Your Honor. Showing that the previous DUI was null pros.
I'm sorry, Ms. Githia?
Oh, yes, it's saying that the prior DUI was null pros, so it does appear that he's eligible for the affidavit of first conviction.
All right. Mr. Elliott will be granted an affidavit of first conviction. All right, we will proceed then. Mr. Elliott, have you consumed any medication or alcohol recently?
No, ma'am.
And have you understood the proceedings so far?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you satisfied with your attorney?
Yes, Your Honor.
And is anyone forcing you or inducing you to take this plea today?
No, Your Honor.
If you decide to do so, you would have to give up your constitutional right to a trial. There will not be an opportunity to come back to court to challenge this case in a court of law, such as challenging the evidence, witnesses, the arguments presented, and also giving up your right to have the state try to prove the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you understand that if I grant the affidavit of first conviction, that you will be permitted to drive under a limited permit privilege, which means that you can't go willy-nilly anywhere. It will only be driving around for certain reasons like work, medical, church, or I guess to go to school, if that applies.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. How do you plead to 1 count of DUI less safe?
Guilty, Your Honor.
Your sentence is 12 months to serve 1 day, credit for time served 1 day, balance probated. You will report to your probation office next Thursday, September 14th, before 3 p.m. The location is at 132 Mitchell Street in downtown Atlanta. When you report, once you're on probation, you will report every month. You will complete 40 hours of community service at any nonprofit agency that's not a school and not a church. You will complete an alcohol and drug evaluation and submit yourself to any treatment or counseling that's required. You pay a $300 fine plus any court costs and surcharges, complete a risk reduction program, attend 1 victim impact panel, and if you complete all these conditions, your probation will be non-reporting. and I will grant the affidavit of first conviction upon your surrender of your driver's license, which must be done at the clerk's office right down here at 136 Prior Street. The remaining counts will be null crossed. Anything else, Mr. Lightcap?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, thank you. Mr. Elliott, did you have any questions?
No, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
All right, don't forget to show up next week. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
We will.
Thank you.
That concludes my business, Your Honor. May we be excused?
Yes, have a great weekend. Thank you.
Thank you. You too.
Position 16 on the final plea calendar, we have Federico Antoine Williams. Mr. Haddad?
Yes, Judge, we're ready for a plea. Does the court wish for me to remain on here? Or
Wherever you're comfortable. If you need to stand, stretch your legs, do a
I'm
couple of
okay.
yoga exercises.
Whatever's best.
Okay, that's good. Okay, this is case number 20 CR 005671C, State versus Federico Antoine Williams. Mr. Williams is appearing via Zoom, and his counsel, Mr. Jawan Haddad, is in the courtroom at 136 Prior Street. Mr. Williams was originally accused of theft by deception and theft by taking from a June 24th, 2019 incident in Fulton County. Mr. Williams, you've been advised of your right to remain silent. Your counsel is Mr. Haddad. For purposes of this plea, may I place you under oath?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Githia, is it? Ms. Waldrop? Okay.
Yes, Judge. The defendant is pleading to one count of theft by deception and one count of theft by taking. State's recommendation is 12 months to serve, 2 days, credit for time served of 2 days, balance probated, for the defendant to complete a theft prevention class and pay restitution in the amount of $249. We have agreed that probation may terminate upon completion.
Mr. Haddad, are those the terms to which your client has agreed, and do you stipulate the factual basis, venue, and ID for theft by deception and theft by taking?
Judge, we stipulate as to venue and the facts. I'm actually sitting in for Ms. Rosenhoover, Judge. This is a negotiated plea. We're requesting the court to follow the state's recommendation. I did speak to Ms. Rosenhoover about the facts, and of course, she had submitted the DocuSign as well.
Okay. Mr. Williams, have you consumed any medication or alcohol recently?
No, Your Honor.
And have you understood the proceedings so far?
Yes, Your Honor.
You understand that your attorney is Sarah Rosenhoover, but today Mr. Jawan Haddad is acting on her behalf to represent you. Do you have any objections to that?
No, Your Honor.
And you've heard the prosecutor, Ms. Waldrop, list the conditions or the recommended sentence if you decide to plead guilty to these two theft charges. Do you have any objections or any corrections to be made to the recommendation?
No, I just want to reconfirm. So it's go ahead and do the probation or pay the $249 for the termination. And the course, like, can it be like a 4-hour theft prevention course? Does that meet the requirements?
It is, yes, you will be on probation. That is correct. You need to do a theft prevention class. Is that your understanding?
Yeah, I was just wondering about how long it has to be, because there's different ones that
The theft prevention class, I believe, is 1 session. I really have not heard about it being more than 1 session.
Okay.
And then you need to pay restitution of $249 directly to the probation officer, who will then remit the funds. And who is the victim to whom it's remitted?
Yes, Judge, that is going to be Fry's. That is a retail establishment, FRYS, and that is located at 3065 Webb Road.
Is that in Alpharetta?
Your Honor, that is in Milton.
Milton, okay.
And Judge, I believe, in case it was not clear to Mr. Williams, but the plea contemplates termination of probation upon
Yeah.
completion of the.
Yes, it does say that. So, Mr. Williams, just to reiterate, it would be paying $249 for the restitution back to the Fry's. I guess that's an electronic department store. You pay that to your probation officer and they will make sure the funds get to the victim. And if you've completed the theft prevention class, if you've completed the restitution and your probation fees are all up to date, then it will terminate upon completion. Is that your understanding?
Yes, Your Honor.
And then would you still like to proceed with this plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
And do you understand that you would have to give up your constitutional right to a trial, your right to go back to court, confront your accuser, challenge the evidence and the witnesses brought against you, and have the state trying to prove the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt? Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
How do you plead to 1 count of theft by deception and 1 count of theft by taking?
Guilty.
Your sentence is 12 months to serve 2 days, credit for time served 2 days. You will report to probation next Thursday at 132 Mitchell Street in person. And that's located in downtown Atlanta. While on probation, you need to complete that theft prevention class, pay the restitution of $249. And once probation is satisfied that all the conditions are met, then the probation will terminate. Any questions?
So can I do that before Thursday? Like go there and pay the fee and come with the certification for the course and it be done?
Certainly.
Okay,
You need to report that in person the first time.
understood.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Judge.
Oh, Mr. Randall, I have the disposition sheet over here.
Oh.
So if you want to fill that. And this is Mr. Williams' probation information and special conditions information as well. Okay. Alexis Diane Hall is from this morning. And that was position 10, I believe. This is State versus Alexis Diane Hall, 19 CR 009-030C. Ms. Hall is present along with counsel, Mr. Joanne Haddad. Did I just totally blow over your first name?
Joanne.
Joanne, that's right. And sorry about that, Mr. Haddad.
I know where it is.
Ms. Hall, you have a right to remain silent about the facts of the case. Anything you choose to say, your comments can and will be used against you. Your attorney is presently Mr. Haddad, who's going to be representing you for purposes of this plea. You were originally charged with driving under the influence of alcohol less safe and a violation of basic rules. Are we still proceeding on both these counts, Ms. Gutierrez?
Well, the basic rules is going to merge, Your Honor.
Okay. So it'll be 1 count of DUI less safe that Ms. Hall is proceeding with. Ms. Hall, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Ms. Gutierrez?
Yes, Your Honor. On count 1, DUI less safe, the state's offers 12 months to serve 72 hours, credit for time served 24 hours, to serve the remaining 48 hours, $1,000 fine, 240 hours of community service, risk reduction program, 2 victim impact panels, and an alcohol drug evaluation, and any required treatment. Does the defense stipulate to the facts, venue, and ID?
We do.
Mr. Haddad, when will your client surrender to the Fulton County Jail to serve 1 more day?
It's 1 day.
Well, it's 48 hours. And so that's the sheriff's of Fulton County typically gives a 2-for-1.
Next weekend, if possible.
Is there a day, Friday or Saturday?
Friday, it's fine.
Time, you have to be specific, what time?
Oh,
If you surrender on this Sunday evening, you may be released by Monday or Tuesday morning in order to make it to probation next Thursday.
unfortunately, I have a prior obligation, so.
Which is what?
It's my daughter's graduation ceremony.
When is that?
It's Sunday.
This Sunday?
Mm-hmm.
Would you be able to surrender then on Monday evening? Because your probation visit is next Thursday.
So I have to do it prior to next Thursday?
I prefer you to do it prior to, yeah. Because probation cannot begin until you've completed your jail time.
Okay. So if I do it Monday, then I will be possibly released when?
By Tuesday evening or Wednesday morning.
Okay, that's fine.
Your Honor, if I may put a couple of things on the record, going over the court.
Okay, I'm just checking the dates. That's what I was doing. So you would have to surrender on September 11th in the evening before 6 p.m. And then you go through the intake division, and then the sheriff will release you either on Tuesday evening or Wednesday morning. And then you report to probation on Thursday before 3 p.m. Yes, Mr. Haddad.
Judge, just very briefly, Ms. Hall appeared this morning in court. She does qualify for our services. She has 2 children. I didn't have anything on the case in terms of police report or anything like that. Had been in contact during the break. I spoke to the prosecutor. She was kind enough to send me the police report. I went over it with my client. I did tell her this is the first time I've met her, that I'm happy to ask for a reset. She really wanted to resolve the case and move on. Part of the reason, Judge, is that she wants to become a nurse, and they will not license her until, as long as a charge shows that it's pending. I did explain to her with the DUI conviction, I don't know, I don't practice in that area. She said that the nurse, they're not troubled by a conviction, they're more troubled by the fact that it's pending, which is one of the reasons why she wanted to resolve it today as opposed to put it off until November 3rd, which is initially why it requested. I did review the report, Judge. I did discuss the facts of the case. It is a good resolution to the case based on my review of the report. This is a 2018 case, so it's 5 years ago. The good news is, Judge, she's not had any other DUIs since or anything of that sort. In light of the recommendation, she has a prior case from 2015. So she had these issues back then, Judge, but thankfully she seems to have turned her life around. We are requesting the court to follow the state's recommendation, and thank you, Judge, for allowing her a few days to turn herself in. Other than that, that's really all I wanted to say. If the court would be willing to waive the first 3 months of cost supervision, that'll be great. I understand if the court will not do it under the circumstances, but considering the fine and the surcharges and all that, if the court would request that. But on that, Judge, I would just ask the court to follow the state's recommendation. My client's license was suspended back in 2018 for the year because it was a refusal. So that's where we're at.
Well, it's going to be suspended again.
Except, Judge, I'm not really sure how that works with once it's suspended for a year, Judge, it doesn't get resuspended again because otherwise, but anyway, I just want to let the court know it's an issue. Either way, DDS will have to, if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong.
She would need to file for reinstatement.
And obviously, if it's suspended, then she'll have to file for reinstatement. So
I don't know if a second DUI conviction, second lifetime DUI conviction will preclude her from obtaining a professional license.
It would not. I spoke to the board of nursing on the break.
I do not know. I'm going to count on your representation. And Ms. Hall, Mr. Haddad is absolutely right that if you want to enter a plea today, that's entirely up to you. You have an opportunity to ask him all the questions, and you have an opportunity to explore all your options, whether you want to take a plea today or down the road. Those are all options available to you. But after conferring with Mr. Haddad, and if you believe that you still want to proceed with this plea offer, then I am going to accept the state's recommendation. Does the state recommend non-reporting after completion of all the conditions, Ms. Githia?
No objection to that.
And so if you complete all these conditions, then after that, probation will be non-reporting. So I will waive your probation fees for September, October, and November. But December 1st onwards, as long as those conditions are still outstanding, you will continue to report to probation and start paying probation fees from December 1st.
Okay.
The sooner you're done with all the other conditions, then it'll be non-reporting, so you'll have at least some savings on probation fees.
Okay, thank you.
In that light, Mr. Haddad, may I proceed with the plea I can never say it, plea narrative, colloquy, yes.
Yes, Judge, of course.
Okay. Ms. Hall, have you consumed any medication or alcohol?
No, ma'am.
And have you understood the proceedings as have been discussed so far?
Correct.
And are you satisfied with the representation you've received?
Yes.
Is anyone forcing you or inducing you to take a plea today?
No.
And you have already understood the impact it may have upon your personal circumstances, upon any professional licenses, and upon your freedom in the near future. Are you still willing to move forward with your this plea offer?
Yes.
And you understand that if you decide to enter a guilty plea to this second DUI in a lifetime, that any subsequent arrests for DUI will incur a longer jail time, will incur much more stringent fines and fees and community service and conditions imposed upon you with regards to your license.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You also understand that you will not be having a trial. You will not be back in a court of law to have the assistance of counsel to challenge the evidence and witnesses brought against you, to present any defenses you may have, to confront your accuser, and have the state try to prove the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you plead to one count of DUI less safe?
Guilty.
Your sentence is 12 months to serve 72 hours, credit for time served 24 hours. You have 48 hours left to serve, which means that you will report to the Fulton County Jail on, according to my date, will be on September 11th, 2023, before 6 p.m. And you should be released no later than no later than Wednesday, 2023, Wednesday, 13th, 2023.
Okay, question. If I am able to go Sunday evening, can I go?
That's entirely up to you,
Okay.
yes. But no later than September 11th, 2023. You will report to probation on Thursday, which is September 14th, 2023, before 3 p.m. And that's located at 132 Mitchell Street, downtown Atlanta. This side.
Okay.
And while you're on probation, you will pay a $1,000 fine plus any court costs and surcharges. Your probation fees will commence on December 1st, 2023. You are to complete 240 hours of voluntary community service at any nonprofit agency, which is not a school and not a church. You have to complete a risk reduction program, attend 2 victim impact panel programs, and complete an alcohol and drug evaluation. The basic rules charge will merge with the DUI. Your probation will be non-reporting upon completion of all conditions. Any questions?
No, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. This paperwork, one piece of paper. Fill out. Your Honor, I do have one announcement.
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, the gentleman behind me,
Remind me of his name. Is it Nelson?
I'm trying to.
What's your name, sir? Chad, was it Chad Nelson?
No, Judge. Deshaun Johnson, Judge. I'm trying to figure out which calendar. Okay, he's on the show
Position
cause.
3.
Yes, Judge. He does qualify for the Services Public Defender's Office. I would request a reset for a status. He does have the other case, Judge, that I had mentioned. If we can have them both, I mean, it makes sense to handle both if we're gonna take a plea, if we can resolve the case, so.
Miss Bolton or Mr. Randall, we're going to reset position 3 on the show cause calendar to November 3rd at 9 a.m. And he will need to appear in person. And please request Judge Mather's division to transfer 21 CR 003-870G so that both can be rescheduled to that date.
21 CR 003-870G.
870G.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, Mr. Johnson, both these cases will be addressed on November 3rd. Your attorney is,
It's probably gonna be Rosen Hoover, Judge. I'll give him that information. I wanted to clarify a couple of things with him.
all right, next time you come back, Mr. Johnson, make sure you know your attorney's name.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. As soon as you get the information, you're free to go.
Yes, ma'am.
The defendant that's waiting in the back, he would like to address.
There's Mr. Nelson, right? Yeah, Mr. Yakita Lawrence is in there. All right, I think we have addressed everyone in the courtroom with the exception of Mr. Chad Nelson, which is position, was it 7? No, position 11 on the final plea calendar. Mr. Nelson, Ms. Hall, would you be so kind as to sit on the first row of the gallery? Thank you so much. Mr. I swore she was there. Was I seeing things? No, Miss Yakita Lawrence. Mr. Glanville,
Yes, Sean.
is there Yakita Lawrence trying to get back into the Zoom?
Yes, I just let her in.
Okay. All right, Miss Lawrence, if you could please, yeah, there we go. All right. All right, Mr. Nelson. Yes, sir. What would you like to tell me? Keeping in mind that you have a right to remain silent about the facts of the case. Anything you choose to say, your statements can and will be used against you, especially when we have a prosecutor in the courtroom and a prosecutor on Zoom.
Yes, man. I was just wondering, is it possible for me to get representation because
Possible to get on what?
of representation
You want to get legal representation.
due to the fact that I don't have no one to represent me. I don't have no knowledge of what's really going on. And I had the victim. We actually have 5 kids together, so we actually have, I have no prior domestic violence or none afterward. So I'm wondering, like, is there any way we can, the court can work with me? I was told through the prosecutor that she was gonna drop 2 of the child cruelty charges due to the fact that the kid went downstairs when we was.
Yeah, they did. They're dropping 2 of them.
Okay.
There's only 1 left.
Right. Okay.
So is that what your agreement was?
Yes.
So the offer is to plead guilty to 1 count of battery family violence, 1 count of simple battery family violence, and 1 count of cruelty in the 3rd degree. That means out of the 6 charges, you only be moving forward with 3 of them. And there's no jail time, and you need to be in those classes and complete community service. And you can have contact with Miss Yakita Lawrence as long as it's not a physical and verbal altercation.
Okay. Do you know how many sessions or anything with the class?
The domestic violence intervention program is 24 weeks.
24 weeks every day? Like
24 weeks, that means once a week.
once a week for 24 weeks.
Yeah, 24 sessions. It does the mind good.
There's the only way I can get representation.
If you want legal representation, I understand that you do not qualify for public defender's office.
Right.
So you would have to have appeared today with a private attorney because your case has been pending since 2020 and you were informed significant period of time ago that you do not qualify. Otherwise, I can reset this case for you to exercise your right to a trial. And you would need to be prepared for trial by the next court date. And you would either need to make sure that you've got your attorney ready or you can choose to represent yourself. But it will be a jury trial. So it'll be a trial in which you need to understand how to pick your juries, how to argue your case before a jury, and how to argue your case during the course of a trial. I cannot appoint legal representation since you do not qualify.
I don't understand why I don't qualify because I work for the cheapest company in the world, but I mean, I plead guilty. I mean, take it because I don't qualify for financially.
You can only plead guilty if you agree to that the factual basis for the battery, the simple battery, and the cruelty charges are true and correct. You have to agree that the alleged defendant or the perpetrator of these offenses is you. And if you agree that the location of this alleged criminal acts occurred in Fulton County, Georgia, you also have to agree to waive your constitutional right to a trial and to challenge these charges in a court of law. So if you are in full agreement of all these options, and if you want to feel, and if you are willingly, knowingly, and voluntarily want to plead guilty to these 3 charges, then I can move forward with your plea. But if you're doing it just because you think you're up against a wall and you are forced to do so, then I cannot accept your plea. I can only accept it if in good faith you believe that you are guilty of these offenses.
Well, I'm get some representation.
Can I say something?
Yes, Ms. Lawrence.
Yes, the person that I spoke with last time, I can't remember her name, but they told me that because I guess we had another judge, and they told me when we come back to this Zoom, I guess they was going to try to get all the charges dismissed. So I'm not sure like what's going on because they told
I don't
me
know
that
what's going on also based on what you're saying, because the only person who can get the charges dismissed is the prosecutor.
So who is the prosecutor?
Was it you, Ms. Waldrop?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. If you'd like to put your phone number in the chat, the prosecutor can give you a call.
And I don't have Zoom.
Okay,
What?
because I'm not sure if it's the same person that I spoke with last time, but I stated like over several times that I didn't want to press charges and I wanted everything dismissed.
The decision to drop the charges is entirely with the prosecutor. The victim has no right to dismiss the charges.
Okay, so I will have to speak with her again.
Do we have your phone number so she can call you?
I could send it again in the chat. I could send it right now.
All right, please direct that to, oh, you're not on the Zoom, are you, Ms. Waldrop?
I'm not, Judge, but Ms. Lawrence, is it the number ending in 7111?
Yes, but you can call. Can you call this number because my phone is having some issues. So could you call this number 678 805 6164?
Okay. All right, Mr. Nelson, if you'd like to have a seat. Ms. Waldrop is going to contact the prosecutor and we're going to see how we move forward. Mr. Haddad, did you have any other cases to address?
I do not, Judge.
All right. Ms. Hall, did you get everything you needed?
No, ma'am.
I think probation.
That's on her way. I'm trying to finalize all the paperwork.
But she's reporting this weekend, and today's Friday, we want to make sure we have everything fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, folks, we'll be in recess until Ms. Waldrop makes an announcement for the Nelson, for the Chad Nelson case. Thank you. Okay, this is back to the case of State v. Chad Nelson, position number 11 on the final plea calendar, 20 CR 00270C. The plea offer submitted by the state has been rejected by the defendant. And the public defender's office, Mr. Haddad, I'm going to let you.
Judge, thank you. I'm gonna represent Mr. Nelson. I will file my entry. And I'm requesting that we set it to jury trial. I'll have plenty of time to get the discovery, speak to the prosecutor, and if we resolve it, we resolve it. If not, we'll have a trial. So.
All right, Mr. Nelson, you take the podium, please. You've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your appointed counsel is Mr. Jawan Haddad with the Public Defender's Office. This case stems from an April 11th and April 4th, 2020 incident in which subsequently you were accused of 1 count of battery family violence, 3 counts of cruelty in the 3rd degree, 1 count of simple battery, family violence, and 1 count of battery against a female who's pregnant. Based on the information presented by your attorney, I want you to understand that these are 6 misdemeanor charges that are brought against you, and you are presumed innocent of these charges until the case goes to trial. Upon your entry of a not guilty plea, the case will be scheduled for a trial before a jury, at which time the prosecution would then have the complete burden to prove all 6 charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt. If the state prevails, you could be convicted of 1 or more of these offenses and face a penalty of up to a year in prison and or up to $1,000 fine for each convicted offense. Given this information, how do you plead to these charges?
Not guilty.
All right, I'll accept your not guilty plea. A case management order will issue today. Your attorney understands that they have to abide by a schedule with regards to being prepared for this case, for this trial. You have a duty to make sure that you keep in communication with your attorney and that you are prepared for the trial when it's summoned. Also, in the meantime, I don't know if the prosecution's plea offer will remain on the table by the time the case goes to trial, but that's something I'm going to leave up to the prosecutor and your attorney to decide. Okay? In the meantime, you have a duty also to make sure that you maintain your current address and contact information with the clerk's office. And one final thing. You had your first appearance before the magistrate court judge, Judge Frazier.
Or the email. Oh, okay.
I can't tell from that bond order about the contact provisions.
First and last name 3174. Okay.
Mr. Haddad, I can't tell by Judge Frazier what is the bond order in this case. I don't know whether he has a no further contact with Yakita Lawrence, but I'm going to let you advise him accordingly because.
I sure will, Judge.
Hang on.
You stay away from him. No violent contact.
We don't know what about it.
He's still with her, you know, so you don't have children after this, or?
Yeah, we had twins.
Okay.
All right. The bond order issued by Judge Frazier on April 13th, 2020 indicates he's not to have any violent contact with Yakita Lawrence. It's in the bind over materials. So,
That's what my client confirmed, Judge.
Okay.
There's no further violent contact.
okay, all right. Yeah, no firearms and so forth. Okay, that's what I want to confirm. All right, Mr. Nelson, we'll see you at trial. Thank you. Mr. Granville, I think that concludes our calendar for this afternoon. Thank you very much for your help.
Thank you, Your Honor. You have a great weekend.
You too. All right, Ms. Kithia, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Enjoy your weekend. See you bright and early on Monday morning. Thank you.